Hello everyone, this is Nitish and we have started an initiative called Plump series which is Prelims Level Up MCQ series. Here we discuss 5 MCQs daily and this will help you in your UPSC preparation. Today is episode number 144 and I am dealing with economics MCQ. Before starting this class, I would like you to please subscribe the channel and also like and comment on videos. These contents are free of cost, so for test series and foundation videos, you can contact to Vice Sir on WhatsApp 7200 So let's start. Today's MCQ number 1 is which of the following is correct with reference to Digital Payment Index? Statement A. It is released by National Payment Corporation of India. Statement B. It aims to capture the extent of digitization of payments across the world. Statement C is it comprises of 5 broad parameters that enable measurement of deepening and penetration of digital payment in the country over different time periods. And last statement is it is published on an annual basis. So I will provide you 10 seconds. Try to answer this question. So its correct answer will be option C. Now let's look at the explanation. The RBI DPI, which means Digital Payment Index, so it is reached by RBI, comprises 5 broad parameters that enables measurement of deepening and penetration of digital payment in the country over different time periods. So its 5 parameters are payment enabler, whose weight is 25%. Next is payment infrastructure, demand side factor, and payment infrastructure supply side factor. Demand side factor has 10% weightage, supply side factor has 15% weightage. Fourth is payment performance, which has 45% weightage, and last one is consumer centricity, which is 5%, which has 5% weightage. Which is the statement number C. That's why the statement number C is the correct answer. Now move on to MCQ number 2. Consider the following statements. Statement 1. If Reserve Bank of India reduces the cash reserve ratio, in short CRR, it will decrease the money supply in the economy. Statement 2. The lowering of bank rate by Reserve Bank of India leads to more liquidity in the market. In statutory liquidity ratio rate means that commercial banks shall have to invest more money in government and other approved security. And the last statement, loan to value is a ratio used in mortgage lending to determine the amount necessary to put in a down payment. So in order to answer this question, you should know the 4 concepts, that is CRR, which means cash reserve ratio. Number 2 is bank rate. Number 3 is SLR, which is statutory liquidity ratio, and the number 4 is loan to value ratio. So those who know this 4 concept, they can able to answer this question. So you have to identify the correct statement. Option A, 1, 2 and 3 only, 2, 3 and 4 only, 1, 3 and 4 only, and all of the above. So I will provide you 10 seconds. Try to answer this question. So its correct answer will be option B, which means that except statement number 1, all other statements are correct. Now let's look at the explanation part. Statement number 1 is incorrect because at the time of high inflation, the government need to ensure that excess money is not available in the economy. To that extent, RBI increases the CRR and the amount of money that is available with the bank reduces. So the statement number 1 is the incorrect one. Statement number 2 is correct because any reduction in the bank rate and repo rate will lead to borrower getting loans at the lower interest rate. The lowering of the bank rate makes the domestic banks borrow money at a cheaper rate, which in turn increases the liquidity in the market. So the statement number 2 is the correct statement. Now look at the statement number 3, which is also a correct statement. The maintaining of liquid asset by the commercial bank at the rate fixed by the RBI is called statutory liquidity ratio regulations. An increase in SLR rate means that Commercial banks shall have to invest more money in the government and other approved security which deplete lendable sources of the bank. That's why the statement number 3 is the correct one. Now the last statement, which is the statement number 4, is also a correct. Loan to value is often used ratio in the mortgage lending to determine the amount necessary to put in a down payment and whether a lender will extend credit to a borrower. That's why option B is the correct answer. MCQ number 3. With reference to the Indian economy, what is positive pay mechanism? Statement A. It is a process of reconfirming the key details of large value checks. Statement B. In this mechanism, one party has the obligation of either taking delivery of goods or paying a specified amount. Statement C. It encrypts the newly tokenized card and it is ready to be used for payments. And statement D. It uses near field communication technology between your device and the payment terminal. So, I will provide you 10 seconds. Try to answer this question and write it in the comment section. So its correct answer will be option number A, which means that the positive pay mechanism is nothing but a process of reconfirming the key details of large value checks. RBI has issued the guideline for banks to implement positive payment pay mechanism from January 1, 2021. It means that this question is basically related to contemporary affairs. And this system is implemented to safeguard against check frauds. The positive pay system developed by National Payment Corporation of India, and it is a process of reconfirming the key details of large value checks. Under this system, a person issuing the high value check submit certain essential details of that check like date, name of the beneficiary, payee amount, etc. to the drawee bank. The details can be submitted through electronic means such as SMS, mobile app, internet banking, ATM. The details are cross-checked while issuing the check and any discrepancy is flagged. So it is basically a definition, or we can also say that the explanation of positive pay mechanism system. MCQ number 4. With reference to Universal Postal Union, consider the following statement. Statement 1. It is a UN specialized agency established by Treaty of Bern in 1874. Statement 2. The membership of the Union is limited to United Nations member country only. Statement 3. The supreme authority of Universal Postal Union, the Congress, meets in every 4 years. So you have to identify the correct statement regarding Universal Postal Union. Option A, 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, and all of the above, which means 1, 2 and 3. So I will provide you 10 seconds. Try to answer this question. So its correct answer will be option number C, which means statement 1 and 3 are correct regarding Universal Postal Union. Now let's look at the explanation. Statement 1 is correct because Universal Postal Union was established by the Treaty of Bern in 1874. It is a UN specialized agency. It is also the second oldest international organization worldwide, which is statement number 1. Statement 2 is incorrect because any member country of UN may become a member of UPU, which means that Universal Postal Union. Any non-member country of the UN may become a UPU member provided that its request is approved by at least 2/3 of the member country of the UPU. The UPU now has 192 member countries. So the statement number 2 is incorrect one. Last statement is also a correct statement. Universal Postal Union consists of 4 bodies: the Congress, Council of Administration, Postal Operation Council, and International Bureau. So statement number 3 is the correct answer. Last MCQ, MCQ number 5. The FRBM Act contains an escape clause under which center can extend the annual fiscal deficit target on which of the following grounds? Statement 1. Collapse of agriculture, national security, structural reforms, decline in real output growth of a quarter by at least 3% point below the average of the previous 4 quarters. So you have to select the correct answer code. Option A, 1, 3 and 4 only, 1, 2 and 3 only, 2, 3 and 4 only, and all of the above. So I will provide you 10 seconds, try to answer this question. So its correct answer will be option number D, all of the above, 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now let's look at the explanation. The law does not contain what is commonly referred to as an escape clause. The law does contain what is commonly referred to as an escape clause under section 4 subclause 2 of the act. The center can extend the annual fiscal deficit target citing grounds that include national security, war, national calamity, collapse of agriculture, structural reforms, and decline in real output growth of a quarter by at least 3% points below the average of the previous 4 quarters. And these are the options which I put in the statement. That's why all the statements, that is 1, 2, 3 and 4, are the correct statement regarding the escape clause. So that's all for today. Next episode will be tomorrow. So please subscribe and stay tuned.